Alright, so it's like a comedy of errors, and none of them I wouldn't be surprised, even though I deleted the video, if one of them ends up being my storage is full. So first off, I couldn't find a damn iPad. Then I remembered, oh yeah, it's on the shelf, top of the shelf. So that's where I put it because the clean ladies, we got people that clean the house. Cleaning ladies sounds so weird to say to people that aren't my family, but like the cleaning people that come every other week. And so I had to move stuff off my bed. I usually have the iPad and my laptop on my bed just for, if I wake up in the middle of the night and I need to use those, check the time or whatever, I have those right next to my bed, or right on my bed, rather. I had to move that when the clean ladies came, forgot that it was on there. Should have put that on the bed when I moved the iPad, the laptop too. I don't know why I didn't do that. And then I couldn't find it, finally found it. Found out that it's at 4%, because every time I need my iPad, it's always almost dying. Because I don't even use it that often. I just use it for, honestly, the only thing I've used it for, and I'd say the past month, has been recording videos. I don't use the Kindle that often, because I'm on these fucking things. And I don't, and it kind of pisses me off, because I'm trying to remember myself. I read that Spider-Man book, finish that Spider-Man Alien Reality book, because I want to finish it for this go-around, which I don't have any, it's not it's 5 issues. It won't take me that long at all to read. But yeah, and then it was at 4%, I start recording, it starts glitchy and laggy and everything, alright, that's fine, no, I just wait for it to, and it died. And I have no idea why it does that. I plugged it in, had it on its charger, but still decided to die on me. I don't know why it does that, because it doesn't do it every single time, either. It's a literal glitch that only happens, honestly, I would say, when I don't want it to happen. Sometimes, I get prepared, I'll make a cut that's okay, this cut's not going too well, so if I need to end it, I can end it and not be so pissed off. But I was really pissed off, I'm trying to get this thing recorded, too. But anyways, this is part 1 of 2. I'm going to make it 2. Either way, I'm going to make it 2 parts, so it's pretty damn easy. When it's a huge stack here and a little stack there of books I haven't finished and haven't finished, respectively. But here's a big stack of books, big stack of comic reviews. Let's get on with it. First one up is a book that I never, literally never thought that I would see. Anyways, I'd see on my own channel. I never thought I would read. So I do have to kind of preface it. The reason why I'm reading this book to begin with is because at my job, again, I'm going to say this again, I work at my high school, I saw in one of the teachers' rooms that she had this book in there. And I'm trying to, she's around my age. So, this is a great start, isn't it? No, I'm not like that. I'm trying to, get friendly with her. I think she'd be a great wing woman. She likes women. So it'd be nice to get, someone from that perspective to get on women. To be hey, I like this girl. It's, because I'll have 2 of them. Ironically, the other wingman I have is her friend. It's really funny. But I'm almost 100% positive what I said about her. I'm almost 100% positive. She used the word partner, and I think she used girlfriend one time by accident. Not by accident, but, first time. But anyways, she had this book, and that is Heartstopper. A book I never thought I would be reading. And honestly, I enjoyed it. Not enough to want to buy it myself or anything like that. It's not a high recommend. It's a recommend. If you like these kinds of stories, you'll like them. And if you're skeptical like me, it took me an hour and a half to read, in total. Of course, I kept taking breaks. I wanted to play one last round of Xbox, but then after, it's pretty fast paced too. If I really committed to it, I probably would finish this an hour. But it was an hour and a half, I would say, total. And yeah, not bad. I liked it. I will continue reading the series. The library, for whatever reason, my local library has volumes 2, 3, and 4, but not volume 1. I don't know why. Yeah, I saw this one. I'm pretty sure, I don't think it's one of those things where she just, grab books at random. Oh, this one's popular. Let's put this one on the shelf. I think it was actually from her personal library that we can borrow, of course. Hope she has extra copies, because there's always bound to be that one book that just disappears out of nowhere. But yeah, just an average book. I liked it enough. 7 out of 10. That's what I'd probably give it. Then we have probably the most, not useless, but the most, just why was this even written kind of book, and that is here. I didn't even know this was a graphic novel until I watched Jeremy John's review of Here. That's the Tom Hanks movie that just came out as a recording this, and I never even knew this book came out. But this is like the movie at least has an actual plot. This is just like, hey, here's the house from 2015. Here's the house in 2025. Here's the one from 2225. Here's it from 1690 when it was just land. Here's it's just random. And it doesn't even it's not even consistent. It's not like you get 1695 and then you get 2015. It's just random. And it's just random stuff. Random bits of dialogue, random this, random that. No real no actual plot. And I get that's what the author was going for, I guess, and that's fine. And it was, again, it's a very quick read, but it's very monotonous, kind of pointless. That was what I was looking for. Kind of pointless. Like, no point for this book to exist, honestly. And I wouldn't mind it if it was, like, 4 separate time periods. You had, like, the far past, like, 1695, and then you had, like, 1495. I forget what the oldest one was. Yeah, you had some from BCE, but that was not mine. But, like, you had a pretty consistent, because it was kind of like, it did sort of follow a plot. Like, it was still, like, consistent, like, this happened, and this happened, like, consecutive. But you had, like, that from 1695, then you'd have it from, like, 1875, and 1995, 1965, then 1995, then 2005, or 2015, whatever. That would make sense, but those 5 plot points, like, those are the 5 connecting parts. It was an actual story, like, an actual connecting, I keep using that word, like an actual, beginning, middle, and end for each of those time periods. Not just, here's, like, random bits of dialogue from these time periods. It was the weirdest book I've ever read, and honestly, I don't think I really liked it. If you want to, I would say, I still would recommend this, however. If you've watched the movie and you want to see how a graphic novel version of this same concept works, you can't go wrong with this one. It's a quick read. It's very little dialogue. Giant Days Volume 7, well, not as good as Volume 6, still a damn good series. I still really like the series. It's still, honestly, if we're at Volume 7 and I'm still recommending this book, that's a lot to be said. Especially because I don't even think I got to Volume 7 of Lumberjanes. And this is the same boombox, same sort of demographic. I mean, Lumberjanes is definitely younger girls, but this is like older girls / boys. Like, it's definitely anyone can read this book, but it definitely is more for that young adult crowd that honestly likes image books. Like, this is probably the most imagey that Boom Studio has ever gotten. I mean, neither one of them are either too much of themselves, but like Image Comics, you have like Wicked and Divine and Paper Girls and all those kinds of books. And of course, I've not read every single Boom Studios book. Same thing for Image, but you have like that, like that feel, that Image Comics feel, and this book kind of does share here and there. But all around good. Like, it's nice to know that we can have 7+ volumes of something that's not outlandish at all. There's no monsters or demons to fight. There's no sci-fi elements, no fantasy elements out of nowhere. It is just a slice of life of 5 college students. That's all it is. Just lives of them. And seeing them change and evolve throughout the 7 volumes we got in. And some move out here, some go over there, but they still, you still follow them. Now, one thing I will give it is that sometimes I forget about characters, and I'm like, oh yeah, where's the kid character, the one that likes Esther? Where'd he go? And it's kind of like, oh, there he is, and they will have like an issue centered around him. But a lot of it is centered around the 3 girls, and I don't mind that. I think that is good because it's less people to focus on. Thus, you get an arc, story arc, for these characters, and that's a good thing. Then we have another. First up, we have Trial of Magneto. I was trying to say, like, along with Heartstopper, the next book after this will be one that I didn't show off when I was doing my books I'll be reading for the next few weeks. I don't think I did it for here either. So there you go. But anyways, Trial of Magneto. Now, the X-Men books, I'm just gonna this Krakoan era, I'm just gonna read whatever my library has. Like, actually, one of them I'm getting for this next time I do the books I'll be reading the next few weeks will be Immortal X-Men. I'm just getting random ones. It catches my eye, or not catches my eye. I want to read this one. I'm gonna pick up this one. I'm gonna pick up the Kieran Gillen X-Men book. I'm gonna pick up the Jerry Duggan book, maybe. I'm gonna pick up the Leo Williams Trial of Magneto. I know technically I should be going in order, but comics X-Men is already all over the place, so I don't really mind being a little confused here and there. I kind of expect that with X-Men. Expect that. But this one was good. I liked it. A Leo Williams book that I actually liked and actually recommend is, for the most part, a crowning achievement, because her Mary Jane book I absolutely despised. And there was something else that she wrote that I didn't really like, and it was always like that when the that comic book crowd would say, "Oh, her work sucks" and all that shit. I'd be like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna argue with you there." But this one is actually pretty damn good. Nothing groundbreaking, but pretty damn good. It kept my interest throughout, and that is like the least that I ask for a comic to do. And if you accomplish that, you're doing good. Then we have the other surprise, and that is Ms. Marvel. This is the one that is co-written by Imani Vellani, but it's actually written by Sabir Plaza, I think his name is. I'm just going to say Sabir Plaza. His actual name is... yeah, it's Sabir Plaza. I'm just going to say. I know that here's the actual here's the actual credits. I'm going to zoom there, but I think it should be in focus right now. But I just want to show all the credits, I might as well. But this one I liked. I think all of Ms. Marvel is just good, Now, not all of it, but it goes from good to average. None of it's bad. I've not hated any Ms. Marvel books. The only one I can think of was the team-up book wasn't too great. In this Saladin Ahmed run is definitely not as good as the G. Willow Wilson run. But the G. Willow Wilson run I still like. Has its problems, sure. I agree with a lot of the hate, and I get a lot of the hate, but... no, sorry. I meant to say I get a lot of the hate, but I don't completely agree with all of it. I still think the series is good. Now, will I ever go out of my way to buy a Ms. Marvel omnibus? No. I will always wait for my library to have the next book in the series. And my local library had this one out of the blue. So there's our Captain Marvel book I'm going to pick up. I'll help you for next time. Well, no, if I have... no, because I don't want to do that. That Spider-Man review, that Spider-Man book I was talking about, will more than likely be a text-only review, like a post. But anyways, because that's the only book I'll probably have after. That's outstanding. But anyways, maybe I'm gonna do that with Ms. Marvel also. No, it's not Ms. Marvel. Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel. It's the Alyssa Wong series. I have the first volume of that series at my local library. Now, what I mean by that? Well, I mean that most of these books, like here and Trial of Magneto, those are from other libraries. My library does an interloan system. They get it from other libraries, and then the libraries card it over to my library so I can pick it up at my local library. And the best part, that library is across the street from my work. So I've been able to go there most every day that I work. But anyways, yeah, this one's another good enough Ms. Marvel book. Am I going to lose sleep over it, of the fact that I most likely won't have volumes 2 and 3, and it's an ongoing, and I gotta do this, and I'll have to wait for the next volume, and then, no. I think what I'm going to do, in fact, is go back to the original Ms. Marvel, and hopefully by then, all of this series will be done, and my local library will have it, even better. But if I have to interloan and have to wait a little bit, so be it, It's that series that... every now and then I think about the series. I'm like, oh yeah, I want to read that again. But it's not an every 6 month thing. It's a when I feel like it kind of thing. Now it would be every 6 months if it was in here as often as it should be, as often as it could be, but it's not. That's not saying the comic is bad. It's saying my brain doesn't work. And I already forgot half the books I wanted to put in for next time for this set of books. Anyways, Shang-Chi by Jinlu Wing Yang. This series was good. I actually think I liked it better than the first time. Remember the first time I thought it was just average, but this one's a little bit above average. I honestly think they should have just adapted this for the movie. but I think this came out after the movie, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was because I think the movie was coming out and they had this series, but if they just adapted this into the second movie, I think you'll have a damn good Shang-Chi movie on your hands that everyone will like, actually, and you won't just forget about the movie after you saw it. I keep forgetting they actually made a Shang-Chi movie. The only reason why I remembered they had a Shang-Chi movie was because I picked up this book. I saw it. It was recommended to me, and I was like, oh yeah. Okay, I've only watched it once. But honestly, that's the same for a lot of Marvel MCU movies, like, just in general. Not Phase 4, just in general. The MCU has kind of, like, because of how bad the recent phases have been, not every movie, of course, but it's kind of like just, and it's okay with MCU in general anymore. I've just flat out skipped movies in the MCU. The one I saw recently, like, as far as continuity wise goes, was Deadpool and Wolverine, and that one shouldn't really count. I think before that it might have been Eternals. No Way Home. That was the last one I watched. I did watch Eternals movie. I actually liked it. Actually, that was pretty good. Not loved it. Not gonna see it again. Not gonna, like, rush out and buy the Blu-ray and no, but just I liked it enough. I was entertained throughout its almost 2 hour and 40-minute runtime. Now, one downside we'll get to the movie that I don't think I mentioned in the Instagram post was that it is kind of like all over the place with the time period, and of course it's like sometimes it did kind of bored. Like, I was kind of like, how long we got about this movie? But not often. Like, not often. It was actually kept my interest throughout. I liked how different it felt most of the time. I didn't mind the changes because it's the Eternals. Like, oh, God forbid they made Sprite from the Eternals a woman instead of a man. I was reading the Eternals comic along with watching the movie, and I forgot that until I was reading the comic. It's like, oh yeah, they made Sprite a girl. Huh. Anyways, like, it's the Eternals. I don't even know why everyone was getting so upset about it, because, again, you probably didn't even read the comics. You probably just read them, like, and then forgot about them. And the only reason why you remember is because other people were getting upset. So you piggybacked off that for the YouTube money, and then there you go. You hit the algorithm. Now you can get yourself a second X-Men arcade system. Anyways, Spider-Gwen Shadow Clones. It's good. You know, it's not the best Spider-Gwen book, and I did realize too late that this came out before, but it's Tim Seeley, so like, how am I gonna rush out and read that? But this, you know, it's decent. It's just decent Marvel fare. Not offensive, but kind of just inoffensive. Kind of just there. You know, it exists. But it's still, if you want to read if you want more Spider-Gwen books, this one's not a bad one to read. Not as good as Jason Latour's run, though, obviously. And I think we could have gotten a little bit more of Dad Cop, because I don't know what she just mentioned in passing. I understand, like, she's moved out of the house at this point, which that's another thing I really like. I like when Marvel books actually, like, move consistently, and to a point where it seems like it's, instead of taking 5 years to move 1 year in Marvel continuity, like 5 years our time, 1 year their time, it kind of seems almost as if their time is moving along with our time. You know, no longer are we in the days where Spider-Man can't get married to Mary Jane. We are for Spider-Man, of course, but for Spider-Gwen and other characters, they can go from high school to college to moving out of their parents' house in the span of, like, how long has she been around for? However many years, 10 years? And yeah, okay. The more I think about it, the longer it's taken. But in the way of, like, way of reading, because even though she was created back in 2015, I actually think earlier than that, it kind of does seem like she's been around for not as long. I still think I said it. I still stand on what I said. Weapon X. This reminded me a lot of the books I pick up at my local comic shop. The one that is gone now, but it was the one that was closest to my house. Whenever you would see me have, like, it's a long time ago, but you'd see me come in with, like, a bunch of floppies. They were all in Mylars. They were from, like, 1980 and 1990, and then you had ones from early 2000s. Yeah, that was what this book reminded me of. It reminded me of all those early 2000s random series I got that are Marvel books from the early 2000s, but they weren't, like, Wolverine or anything like that. It was, like, what was the book called? Where that Runaway spinoff was that CB Cebulski did. Kind of that kind of feel for it. Like they early 2000s feel where they were kind of just like writing a book to write a book. And they weren't trying to break new ground. They weren't trying to be anything more than they were. They're just simple stories, and they were good stories. They're entertaining. They didn't want to like bastardize the Weapon X history. They just want to tell stories set in that time. Well, not the time period, because it's present time. But they wanted to do more Weapon X stories. Why not? You know, it's just... And it reminds me of like that kind of feel for it, and all those books I liked, but I liked them because I got them for cheap too, and that's what kind of reminded me of. Like this book, I could totally see being at every comic shop's every local comic shop's bargain bin. Like this trade, not the issues, the trade issues too, but most more than anything a trade. But I liked it. I think they were good stories. None of them I thought were terrible. And Frank Thierry, I seem to have like a love-hate relationship, similar to Leah Williams, but I can't think of anything by him I absolutely hated. But I remember like some things I read by him, they're like, okay, now it's Frank Thierry. That's why this book was kind of not that great. But this one is. So much so that I would like to them that it would have been nice the library had the second complete collection, which concludes the series, but they don't. Whatevs. Now on to the 2 Daniel Kraus books. And for every yin, there's a yang. Now, Cemeterians I thought was good. I didn't think it was terrible. But Autumnals is my pick of the week. Absolutely insane that this book can... I was trying to... I kind of feel like that. But absolutely cannot stress this enough. This is a must-read. It is a 10 out of 10. But I would say 9.5 because I give Preacher a 10 out of 10. It's not as good as Preacher, but it is my pick of the week by far. This was probably the new face of horror. If Daniel Kraus is kind of, so far at least, seems to be the Stephen King of comic book horror. You know how Stephen King, like, he kind of had those weird outlandish tales. That's what this book feels. It feels a lot like a Stephen King novel, but in graphic novel format, and not written by Stephen King. Absolutely 100% recommend this book. First of all, it's unique. It's not like I wasn't reading it and be like, that's from this horror movie, that plot point is from that horror movie. And okay, I've not seen every single horror movie, but it really felt like it was unique. I could totally see this being adapted into an A24 horror movie, and everyone loses their minds over how good it is. Now, Cemeterians, on the other hand, it was good. You know, I liked it. I think it got better as it went along, but Autumnal was like consistently incredible. So both I recommend, but Autumnal is high recommend. This one's more like an 8 out of 10, maybe a 7 out of 10, but it's like a 9.5 out of 10. Again, you can't give the same score as Preacher, so I won't give it a 10 out of 10. But it's the closest to a 10 out of 10 that we've gotten in this, that we'll get to in this pile. And we have Sandman, and like I've said before, it's very inconsistent for me. Some of it will be really damn good, like the Thessaly plot points, that whole thing with her and I think it was Barbie. That whole thing was really damn good. Then we had the, what was the other one? Not Brief Lives, but there's another one. It was like right before and after Fables and Nocturnes, ironically enough. You have the stuff with Rose Walker and her and Jeb. That was really damn dark and really damn good. But then you'd have books like this that just kind of make the whole entire series grind to a halt, in my opinion. Not terrible, but it's so inconsistent for me. But it was nice reading it. I think every time I've read this book, I've read it in this format. Even this 30th anniversary edition, where I believe it's the original colors. At least it feels like it is. It's more muted. The new colors are more bright. And honestly, I'd say Sandman, like reading it as far as the colors go, you can't go wrong with either version. If you want something that feels more vintage, go for these. But if you want something that feels more modern, go for the new colored versions. But this one is... I actually don't know which one your local comic shop will have. They might have this 30th anniversary edition as Black Label. Or they might have the original, like the fully recolored, that's what it is. It's a fully recolored editions. Those are the ones I've been reading. World's End, or is that the one that was that the... I think that was the Thessaly one. But those ones I really good. When it gets to that shit, that's what I really like out of Sandman. But when it gets like overly verbose and wordy, it loses me. That's why half of Sandman I really kind of like, and half of it I absolutely despise, and I'm ready to be done with it when I am through issue 1 of, like, what, 6 issues? Goddess Mode. Probably the most incomprehensible comic I have read in a long-ass time. Your boy Zach put it really great when he said, just watch this Goddess Mode issue 1 review if you want to get more in-depth review of how I feel about this comic. But honestly, he said this book needed an editor. And this book needs an editor really damn bad. Because a lot of it, like, it has a really cool concept, but it loses me. Like, I honestly, there were things that he was mentioning that I completely forgot about. Like, you could tell me, oh, no, that actually, that happens in Goddess Mode 2. You know, there's a Goddess Mode 2, it's a Goddess Mode 2. I would have been none the wiser. He could pull a huge April Fool's Day prank on me personally and said, oh no, I was reviewing Goddess Mode 2 this whole entire time. April Fool's, I wasn't, and I'd be none the wiser. So Goddess Mode, incomprehensible, but I do want to read it again, so I can actually remember what I read. I remember not liking it. That's what I can say for sure. Suicide Squad Volume 2. Like Volume 1, it is pretty damn good, and New 52 as a whole, I think, is criminally overhated. There's a lot of good in New 52 that people don't really recognize. People don't want to recognize. Yeah, I don't like some of the changes they made, but it's changes in continuity. Like, it's a different continuity than what you're used to. So obviously, I'm gonna make changes. But I like this book. I think it's entertaining. It can be entertaining throughout. Honestly, they just kept this, and they adapted this in the course of the first volume for the 2016 movie. I think it would have gotten the closest it could have gotten to that Comic-Con trailer. Which I watched that the other day, and that was like, yeah, that's still one of the best trailers for a terrible movie I've ever seen. Like, that actually, like, one of the best trailers for a bad movie. Not just best trailers in general, no. Best trailers for a bad movie. And I'm one of the people that actually doesn't, like, completely hate Suicide Squad. I think I need to rewatch the director's cut, though, because the extended cut. Because that is the cut I always watch, and I always think that's when I first watched Suicide Squad, that was what I watched. There was the director's cut. And then from then on, I was always like, hey, I liked it. And it was terrible. But I recently watched the theatrical cut, and I was like, oh, now I really understand it. Now I really don't like this movie. So, and I'm gonna put them to an average and average them up and say the movie is bad. Which goes to show how much I hate that theatrical cut. But anyways, Batgirl and the Birds of Prey. I think a lot like Gotham City Sirens, which I'm still haven't finished yet, but a lot like the Gotham City Sirens, the series is a lot better as it goes along, and when I'm thinking of the series as a whole, I kind of lump all 3 volumes of this series together, and all 2 complete collections of Gotham City Sirens also together. And all around, I say this series is really damn good. It's really damn underrated. No one really talks about this series at all. Yeah. And this one, I think, like I said, it gets really good as it goes along. And not as good as Gotham City Sirens. I think if you want something like this, but it's with the... I think this is the best book you're going to get with these characters in them for modern DC book. I don't know what I'm trying to say there. I think because Catwoman is in both Gotham City Sirens and this, I lumped them 2 together again. But I think this series is just, it's good. It's decent. It definitely is a book that if you see at a local library and you want to check it out, you can't go wrong checking it out. You won't, like, your time is wasted. Wonder Girl, I said it once, I've said it twice, I will say it a 3rd time. 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. This is really damn good. Like, really, really good. Like, actually really, really good. I am so angry that this book got canceled prematurely. It doesn't seem like it did, because it seemed like as is, it was like, oh, Wonder Woman Trial of the Amazons at that, so I guess it's good that it ended where it did, but I want me more Wonder Girl. This is a really damn good series, and Joelle Jones is a criminally underrated writer. I have not read a single page of her work I haven't absolutely loved. One of the best writers working today. And that's just, that's not because, oh, everything else sucks. No, that's just in general, I think her stuff is really good. Like, and she's one of the most criminally underrated writers of the past 10 years, I would say. DC's Unkillables, a lot better than the first book, and now I understand why everyone's so crazy about this series. So, huge recommend, much better than the first one. I cannot wait to read the next volume. I have this entire series in my PC, so I can read it whenever I want to. Could even read book whatever the hell after this if I want to. Monkey Prince Volume 1, that was good enough. You know, I do want to check out Volume 2. I will check out Volume 2, but it is kind of goofy, and sometimes it's like too goofy, like, oh, look how random we are, we're so funny. But sometimes it's actually, when it actually is going for its plot, and it's silly, but that's how they're supposed to go, because that's part of the plot, I think it's good there. But when it's trying to be too goofy and trying to be LOL so random, I don't think it's that great. But it's not often it does that, which is good. Let's change this text real quick. But yeah, it's not like to the point where like what's that? I don't want to go too extreme and say Squirrel Girl, because it never gets like that. I never want to drop this book. I stack a potato. It's like I think like page 2 of Squirrel Girl, I felt like I read 20 pages. It was absolute torture getting through issue 1, and then I decided to go back to it and decided to at least finish the first volume, finish what I started, and that was like, I felt like I was torturing myself, and I was like, there was two people warring against each other. One that was like, do it, finish it, it's not that bad, and the other part of me was like actually being tortured. That's how bad Squirrel Girl is. But I would say like it doesn't get to the levels that like Ms. Marvel would, like one of those like the Women of Marvel, where they go over the heroes, and they'd have Black Widow, who has a dark ass past, acting like she was one of the girls, one of the females. Like, then it's that LOL random humor, but it still is LOL random humor. Like, I could totally see someone not liking this book because of that reason, and yeah, I'll give it to you there. That's a damn good reason not to like this book, but it didn't bother me as much as it normally would. Dark Knights of Steel Volume 1, really think I'm good. I like this era. I like when comics will go back to the past. It doesn't always have to be zombies or sci-fi in the far future. No, we can have like Game of Thrones DC comics, and it's pretty damn good. I think it does. Like, I think it feels like this book should have been 20 issues, but it's 12 issues. So you kind of do feel like certain plot points are a bit too rushed. But other than that, I would say this book is really damn good, and a strong start to what's been a really captivating series. Like, each issue gets better and better and better and better and better. Tom Taylor proves that he can actually be a damn good writer when he's not fighting people that don't like his work. He's got to be like his Superman. And I just realized I was supposed to do this after the Marvel books, but I didn't. Who cares? Got Eternals, and I like this book enough. Me saying that I like a Neil Gaiman book enough, make that like, it's just like a 7 out of 10. Double that, honestly. Not a 14 out of 10, obviously, but give like an 8 out of 10 to this book. Because Neil Gaiman, I just have like just a really like, the strongest love-hate relationship with this book. When I love a Neil Gaiman book, I'm like, this is really good. I understand why people like him. Yeah. And when I hate a Neil Gaiman book, I'm like, why do people love this series so damn much? But this is pretty damn good. Like, I would say I was entertained throughout. It is all over the place. It is really confusing most of the time, but I still liked it. Not often was I bored. Sometimes I was. Sometimes I was like, oh yeah, we got another Eternalization to read. Yay. And I will admit, I was kind of glad to find out this book was 7 issues rather than 9 like I initially thought. So, it's got that going for it. But all around, I would say this book is worth checking out. It's one of the better Eternals books. It proves that, honestly, I would say it's leaps and bounds above Paul Jenkins' Inhumans. And what's funny about that was I do actually feel like Paul Jenkins secretly wrote Eternals and Neil Gaiman secretly wrote Inhumans. Because both those, like, Inhumans feels like a Neil Gaiman book. This honestly does not feel like a Neil Gaiman book half the time. Like, most of the time does not feel really Neil Gaiman-y. It feels the same. Maybe Paul Jenkins is right. So, that's kind of something I noticed really quickly. Found kind of funny. Then Doctor Strange Fall Sunrise. As good as it is confusing, which is very. This is one of the best modern Marvel comics we've had in the past 5 years, and having this in Treasury Edition is by far the best compliment this book could ever get. There is a reason why this Treasury Edition exists, and that's so we can get oversized artwork, really oversized artwork, but not at a huge expense. This is worth every penny. It's only $30 for 4 issues, and it's this huge ass book. It's worth every penny. Definitely worth checking out. Honestly, like, this entire book, you could read readable high, and it'll be the best experience you ever have. Now I'm gonna go over these again and do out of 10 reviews to conclude all this reviewing, all this comic book reviewing. This one back to it went, even though it technically doesn't matter, but it does to me. And Marvel books are here. OGMs. Alright. So, Heartstopper, like I said, 7 out of 10. Here, 4 out of 10. Some of it was kind of good, I guess. Really pointless. Giant Days, whatever I've given it. I think I've consistently given this series an 8 out of 10. Trial of Magneto, 7 out of 10. Ms. Marvel, 7 out of 10. Shang-Chi, 7 out of 10. Maybe 7.5 for Shang-Chi. Shadow Clones, 6.5 out of 10. Maybe close to a 7. No, I'll give it a 7. 7 out of 10 for Shadow Clones. Weapon X, 7.5 out of 10. Cemeterians, 8 out of 10. Autumn Lands, 9.5 out of 10. High recommend, pick of the week. Even with the books I haven't finished yet. I think all those... No, wait, one's not a reread. But still, pick of the week. Like, out of all the books I've been reading recently. Even the ones I haven't been reviewed on this channel yet. So I haven't finished them. Sandman Volume... What is this? 10? 6 out of 10. So inconsistent. The series as a whole, though, I'd probably give like a 7.5 out of 10. If I want to get really technical about it, like a 7.7 out of 10, but 7.5. Just because of how some of it's really good, but some of it's really bad. But the stuff that's really good overweighs the bad for the most part. But then I'll reread Fables and Nocturnes and be like, oh, okay. That's why I wanted to drop this series like a Psycho Tales the first time I read this volume. Gotcha. Goddess Mode, out of 10. No, 2 out of 10. Suicide Squad is, I would say, 7.5 out of 10. Batgirl, 7 out of 10. Wonder Girl, 8.5 out of 10. Deceased, 9 out of 10. Monkey Prince, 7 out of 10. Dark Knights of Steel, 8 out of 10. Eternals, 6 out of 10. Because again, there's one thing I did forget to mention was there's that one issue that I swear it was the 5th issue. Sorry, 6th issue, and I swear to God, it's out of nowhere. Neil Gaiman was like, "Let's make this 135 pages," and I think it was the same amount of pages. Like it's still 22 pages, same as the last issue, funnily enough. But I felt like every single panel was like, "What the hell?" I literally did the thing where I was like, "Okay, it's gonna be a next issue, next page done." Nope. No. What the hell? Am I being tortured? Was there a chapter break and I didn't realize it because I read it by chapter or slash issue? It wasn't. It's the worst thing. Doctor Strange. Finally, Doctor Strange. 8 out of 10. And that, as I say, is that. We are going for 39 minutes. Make it 40. Pretty soon here, it's going to be Comic Call. Now, it's as of recording this, I'm recording this on the day of, it is the 12th, so 8 days from now, I'll be ordering the books. A few of them will be Amazon Prime shipping, so those will come in, like, very quickly, at least compared to the other ones, which will be third-party sellers. And I'll just do the same thing I normally do. On the 31st of this month, maybe even earlier, I'll do a comic call. If I have a week I have nothing coming out, that's when I'll do it. But I think we're good now. I don't know. Knock on wood, but I think we're good for now. But that, as they say, is that. Oh, and before then, it will be the books I'll be reading the next few weeks video. And well, before that, will be part 2. Then it will be books I'll be reading for the next few weeks. Then probably after that, maybe even the same week, you'll have the comic call, part 1. But that, that's that. That's what I do here. Comic reviews and comic calls. Comic. Maybe a live stream, but I doubt it.